You can hear me, Dan?
Yep.
All right.
A little Cleveland rocks for the D's. Welcome in to the Task Force, already episode 13. It's lucky 13. We've got, as always, myself, Dan Leach, the great Kingpin, Dave Rieger, and the legendary Order Will Be Restored, King of the World. My old friend, I have known you for so many years. One of my first inspirations in broadcasting, always have been super kind to me. The D's, Matt Dery. Dery, it's so good to see you. What's the word, my man?
Dan, honored to be part of the task force tonight with you and Dave Rieger. Well, what can I say? I mean, what a night. It doesn't get any better than this. Tonight was supposed to be the national championship game. Obviously, that's not happening. But to be on with the task force, to see the Kingpin on my screen, doesn't get much better than this.
Well, we're going to, of course, talk about that. Lots that we need to get to. Before we do anything, Dave, you've known Dery longer than I have. So I know you guys got a lot of stories to swap, I'm sure, Dave.
Yeah, I tell you, man, it's the third WDFN alumni in a row here. Rob Parker, Jamie Samuelson, now Matt Dery. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It's like the Mount Rushmore of, broadcasting of what it used to be. My favorite station that I worked at, WDFN, from 2002 to 2007. It was the best. It was the best. Matt was the sports director, and it was the best time.
Like I was saying, and Matt, I grew up on DFN. It's what inspired me to get into the business, and obviously listening to you for a long, long time. Radio's obviously changed a lot, which we'll get to as well. But how are you? How is the family? We obviously are in a very surreal, unprecedented time. I know you're still working, thank God. I'm very happy about that. And you're doing Lockdown Lions, which I came on as a surprise guest the other day. How have you been?
Yes, you did.
I know, great time as always with you. How are you doing? How's the wife? How's the family?
Everybody's good, Dan. Can't complain. I'm lucky enough, like you said, kind of worked the last now 4 years out of the quote unquote business. You know, Dave talked about the great days at DFN. That seems like a long, long time ago. But working at a company called Financial Architects now, doing their marketing and business development. I absolutely love it. Great people. Spent the previous 3 years teaching at U of D Jesuit High School. And I don't think I need to tell you fellas this, but being outside of radio and actually working for people that actually care about you, and then there's an actual care factor, and there's like you come home every day and you feel like you did something that was rewarding. It's pretty cool. So family's good, kids are good, my wife's all right. We're hunkering down like everybody else, man. It's tough, but I'm like I said, I'm lucky that I'm at home just working every day and doing my thing, so I can't complain.
Yeah, what has this time period been like for you? I mean, aside from all the work stuff, having kids. I don't have kids, so I mean, I want to someday. Little DTMs. It's a scary thought. What's it been?
This guy. Dave, will you find him a nice Jewish woman, Dave? Seriously.
The guy is the king of the online dating apps. I can't believe he hasn't found anybody yet.
Here we go. Listen, I have.
I mean, you've got your girl in Canada. You've got your girl in Arizona. You've got the girl you're going to meet at Firekeepers. You've got the other girl. I mean, he's got like a whole harem of women. So yeah,
Can I say something? I mean, hold on, Dan, stop.
Sure.
I need to say this. Dan, the man that runs this show, and there's the whole Leach persona. All right, and he is insane. All right, I think, Dan, I can say that without you getting mad at me. But I think, Dave, you would agree with me. I think Dan would treat a woman really, really well. I think he would shower her with flowers and candy and, late night cuddle sessions. I think Leach, I think it's now that you're kind of, away from radio for a little bit and everything that's going on, I think it's time to settle in. Dan, what do you think?
I'm with you, and I'll tell you this. I got to give credit to my amazing mom, who raised me that way, and my dad to a degree. But I've always treated women with the utmost kindness. I found some great ones online or in person, just not the right one. I got to find the right one. And
how come I've only seen pictures of Leach's mom with you, Dave? I see a lot of pictures online, and I've told Leach, to stop with all, and Dan will tell you this.
Yes.
I've told him numerous times to stop with all the personal BS on Twitter. He's heeded some of my advice lately.
Yes,
but
I'll definitely
it
listen.
seems like Dave's like a member of the Leach family.
Yeah,
I spent a lot of time with Dan and a lot of time with his father, the great Dr. Harold Leach. His mom's very nice too. He's got a very nice family. I don't know why all these pictures are showing up with myself and your mom, but unfortunately, sometimes I have to put Dan on social media bans. He understands
does it often, Dery.
He doesn't always listen, but you know, sometimes it would shower his wife or girlfriend with would be comps at the casino. He gets a ton of those. It would be a lot of good meals at the three casinos.
Listen,
Dave. Go ahead, Dan.
No, I was going to say, I'm very good with the flowers and the candy and the secret gifts. I mean, I want to find that girl to be able to share that with. It's just got to be the right time.
Could you imagine, though, Dave, there would be a night where Dan's like, all right, it's us. It's Friday night. We're going to hang out. I promise. Movie, dinner, whatever it is. And then, like, the Nicaraguan Premier League is on. He's got a 14 parlay going. Shout out to Mark Shell, by the way, good friend of mine. He hit me up the other day. He's such a big sports fan. Mark and his wife Terry. Mark actually texted me a 14 parlay on his phone for the Nicaraguan. I said, I got to send this to Leach. It's the only other degenerate I know bigger than Mark when it comes to soccer in Nicaragua. That would be Dan Leach. So I'll send you those tips.
Please do two things on that. Actually, it's funny. My friend actually has like a small like little sports book he created with like the buddies of his. And there was some, I can't remember the name of the team, like it started with a J. Some Nicaraguan team that was like a 2-1 underdog, and he bet like a ton of money. I bet you that was who your guy said it. There was something they knew, but I will be honest. I get free money for writing different articles for a couple of different places offshore. I did put a small bet on Russian volleyball last night, 4 a.m. The Academy versus the Air Force.
Are you kidding me?
I laid the 137 on the Air Force. They won. They won in 5 sets. Women's volleyball. It was awesome.
All right, let's get down to business here. Dave,
yes.
Do you think it's a good idea? See, now that Dan is kind of, I wouldn't say he's a free agent. I don't want to break any radio news here. Dan can speak for himself. But I think it's time to get DTM to Vegas. And I've made some phone calls. I think VSiN. Could you imagine him on the overnights at VSiN talking about the spreads and the games once we get out of this, just despicable spot that we're in right now with COVID. But I think, but there are some people that I've said, let me help get DTM to Vegas, and they've said, no, Vegas would kill him. No, that's not a good mix. I disagree. I see some growth in this young man.
Yeah, listen, really quick, Dave. I'm 9 years sober. I know I can do it. I used to be scared about the possibility of that. I can handle myself anywhere now, I think. Dave, you know me very well.
I don't know what if you would. Vegas is not ready for you. I mean, it would be uncontrolled. Just I don't think you'd ever sleep. It would be
he doesn't sleep now.
It'd be do your show. It'd be pool parties. It would be all the nightclubs. It would be bottle service. It would be and all free, of course. You know, he would get into all these things because like he always does.
Of course.
But it would be. But Vegas is probably the perfect place for him to do a show based on his excellent gambling prowess that he has. Although I will say that I would say that there are a couple bets that he's made lately against me that he's come out on the losing end.
Yeah, just a couple.
There's a surprise.
I did end the football season 15-2 against the spread, the Squatch. Dery knows the power of the Squatch.
Here we go.
No,
I do.
Dery,
I do. I love when you had Ken Kell on the other day, and instead of saying voice of the Red Wings, you just like, the Cal Squatch. I love that.
It was funny. Our good friend Jamie, we had him on earlier. Yeah, the other day, there obviously no sports. He's like, just found out Leach went 12-5-1 against the spread last night. There's no sports going on. So, no, but the Squatch is a very highfalutin individual. Matt, I do appreciate you making those calls. And listen, I know, and we'll get into this, throughout this show about where we're at in just this world right now. But I know that as tough as this time is, and I'm sure you both agree with this, that whatever you're in, obviously doing what you're doing, Matt, or what I do, what Dave does in radio, or what anybody, a doctor, my dad, who hasn't been able to work in his office lately, when we come out of this, there never will be necessarily a normal again. There'll be a new normal. But I just feel like we're going to come out of this much stronger, much more gracious, much more kind, and that people are going to be grateful for things they maybe didn't even realize they were grateful for as much as they should be, like sports, Matt. I mean, having a family, all that kind of stuff, because we are in this such an odd period of time in this globally connected world, and we've had to pause. The world is on pause. It's like Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark in The Last Avengers. Earth is closed today, man. So I hope that we get to a better place because of this, not just back to the daily grind after we're done with this terrible situation.
I hope so. I hope so too. I mean, I think that I have some anger, and
Sure.
I've not felt this way in a long time, and it's not because I don't enjoy my family and being home. Spent more time with my wife over the last few weeks, and it's been great.
Yeah.
But like, I just can't believe we're in this spot that we're in. It's unfathomable to me. When we were joking in December, if you were sitting at Christmas dinner or something, or at Hanukkah or whatever, and someone coughed and you went, "Oh, he's got corona."
Yeah.
We knew, and that was in December. We were making those jokes, and now we're sitting here in March like idiots, locked up. I don't want to turn this all negative. I know you're Mr. Positivity, Dan, but
No, it's Matt.
I definitely have some anger about
Matt,
it.
I think it's totally healthy, and I'm glad you bring that up because listen,
yeah,
you
man.
have people and the former U.S. Surgeon General. I'm forgetting his first name right now. I always remember, but Murphy's his last name. He was the Surgeon General under Obama. And this is such an important thing, and I know that a lot of people are struggling with this, that we're not just maybe in an economic recession, we're in a social recession, and that you've got to reach out, obviously, to your friends and family and FaceTime and these kind of shows, and that's great, but you got to be able to be emotional. And whether anger is one of those emotions, Matt, that is okay, because letting that out and not bottling it up is such an important thing right now. So I am very positive. It's funny, and I respond to like everyone on Twitter. I shouldn't. You've helped me with Twitter a lot. But someone has said, "Leach, you ever tweet anything positive?" I'm like, I respond. I'm like, "Are you kidding?" Maybe 100 times a day. But we'll get to why today has sucked in many ways in a second.
Yeah.
But Matt, it's about expressing those emotions and doing whatever we can to connect to other human beings.
By the way, shout out. We got to say hello to Dennis Fithian. Your good friend, our good friend, who unfortunately got let go over at the ticket the other day. Dennis, love Dennis. Let me tell you something. This guy, for 14 years, worked some pretty. Can I swear? Or
yes, go. Well, there's kids.
I don't want to go too crazy, but I don't want to turn this into the Stern Show, but I mean, or cash the ticket. But shout out to Mikey V. Sully with a nice text the other day. I spoke with him. But Dennis worked some really shit shifts for 14 years, and what a great dude, man. I'm rooting for him. His wife Marianne is one of the greats. I know his daughter Faith has been through hell, so got to give some love to Dennis. I'm gonna have my Locked On Lions on the podcast tomorrow. Subscribe on iTunes, find us on Apple, but talk Lions every day. But I'll have Dennis on tomorrow, so we'll catch up with. What a great dude!
Two things on that. First off, a lot of people in the chat right now. Taylor Phillips saying hi to you, Dees. If anyone has questions,
Taylor's always wanted his
own show. Taylor sends me all of his live periscopes of the headlines. Yeah. The headlines.
Oh, yeah.
So we appreciate that. If you have questions for Matt, please, or any of us, please put them in the chat. But Matt, on Dennis, and you and I talked about this the other day, and Dave obviously knows this, being a close friend as well. There's no better partner I've ever had. There's not many better friends in my life that I'll ever have than Dennis. You mentioned the Blake shifts. Me and Dennis worked a lot of those together, and I was grateful to do it. Yeah. And I didn't care if it was 2 p.m. on a Saturday. I didn't care if it was 2 a.m. on a weeknight or whatever it was. We had such a great and respectful partnership that obviously you understand, and so does Dave, from other people in the business, and how we've worked together for so many different years. When I was writing the post after Dennis, over his own, I waited until he was out there. He told me he was okay to let people know. But when I was writing the post, I had like 250 pictures. We always took like a pre-show picture, funny shots, serious shots.
You and the
yeah. So we did. I was going through all these pictures, and I put them up on this post that I took a while in a row because I really wanted to write because I really wanted to express my gratitude and how upset and angry and not angry. And I understand what's going on right now, but just angry in general, like you had talked about. And I started crying. excessively during running that post because you guys know me. I'm an emotional guy, and 50 is a true pro. He is Detroit, like so many people in this business have been, and it's tough, Matt and Dave. I know you understand this too. There's people that are getting cut everywhere. I mean, it's terrible.
How you holding up, Dave? You working tomorrow?
I am working tomorrow. I am heading down to the Golden Tower in the Fisher Building, and like I've said, it's very weird going in there. It's all locked down. There's only one place to park, one way in. You got to sign in with the security guards. There's nobody. Everybody else is doing the show from remotely. All the hosts, the sales staff, all the upper management. But we're still going in there. Hallways. It's very creepy walking in that Fisher Building.
Shining
it's a
Shining-esque.
Yeah. If I see those two girls or a kid riding on a little big wheel, I'm gonna be very scared. But it's just a different situation because I've been doing a lot more on the engineering side over there, and now all the remotes we're not doing any, obviously. So it's mostly producing or board opping. And so it's a little different. But I also, as far as Dennis Fithian's concerned, I have the honor, which you probably don't know, Matt, of being the greatest.
in his own mind. I'm a celebrity in my own mind.
The greatest phone call that ever, it was the greatest phone call they ever had on the Dan Leach, Dennis Fithian Lions postgame show, 2015, week 3, when the Denver Broncos came into Ford Field and took out our beloved Detroit Lions. I was the last call on that postgame show that night. Was at the game and
great
just
picture from that night.
Just ended the show. Ended the show on such a high.
Man, I wanted to
it was the greatest call. It was the greatest call they ever had.
It was already a rough enough night with Manny coming in there and doing his nonsense. Then to have Dave call and he's texting me, greatest call ever. It was terrible. But no, so many amazing memories with Dennis. And I'll tell you this, like I was saying earlier, and I know you guys both agree with this. We've all talked about this. Down the road, we'll be back together again. I don't know where it's going to be. Hopefully 97.1, wherever it is. But we'll be together again, and it won't be as special until that happens. And Matt, I'll let you. We said that we try to keep it positive, but I know that you don't feel the way about radio these days that you used to. So I'll let you kind of vent a little bit about that. Did we lose these?
I think we did. I think we lost Matt.
We had some issues. You know what? I'll try.
You might have to call.
We've never done a live call in the middle of the show. So maybe I'll be able to do that. It'll be the first time ever. First time we've ever done that. We'll get it back. But I know that the radio, Dave, the radio business has changed a lot. That's for sure. I mean, you definitely know.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's way different. I think Matt might be back.
Matt, do we have you? There you are. We lost.
Matt,
we lost you. We lost you.
You guys see me? Sorry.
Yep, we got you.
Happened? You got me?
Yeah,
we got you, Matt.
I can hear Dave.
Yeah, Dave, before you go, Matt, as people know what's going on right now in general, the internet sucks. The internet's having issues everywhere.
Broncos.
We're only hearing every other word.
Got me now,
No, we got you.
Okay. All right.
There you go. Are you there, buddy? Should I try calling you guys back?
Yeah, we got you, Matt.
But Matt, as I was saying, the internet's having issues everywhere. It's not just your fault. But we got you.
Right.
We got you. So yeah, I was saying before we lost you that I mean, with trying to keep it somewhat positive. I know you feel differently about the radio business than in the past. I'll let you obviously vent a little bit, but obviously be as nice as you can.
No, there's a lot of really good people involved in the radio business. There's a lot of, and Dave was mentioning before that he gets an opportunity to engineer at JR. Dave learned from one of the greats, and Albert Dale.
Albert Dale, he's the best.
The ladle. Yeah, that's right.
Wait, hold on. Why is he called the ladle? I'm not aware of that.
I'll let Diesel explain that.
What the heck?
Albert can stir the pot.
Yeah,
Albert can stir it with Albert. I was on a call the other day, and I think it was Albert that texted me and said he had heard about Dennis, and Albert's always got the info, so he's on top of things.
Do you miss him, man?
You're
doing Locked On Lines, obviously. You're always connected, like I've always been, even when I was having my drug issues. And thank God every day that I'm 9 years sober now. But do you miss doing the daily stuff that you used to do? Because you're a big voice in Detroit sports for a long time.
No, I don't. To be honest, the fact that I can do the Lions show So I do that Sunday through Thursday during the season, Monday through Thursday, and the podcast medium has been awesome. And the minute I was let go of 105.1, that was March of 2016. I think a couple of months later, David Locke, who started the Locked On podcast network, so there's Locked On Lions, there's Locked On Pistons. Who's that crazy guy on Twitter? Chris Castellani, is that his name?
Yeah, I think
the Tigers fan.
Yes, I think that is who it is.
He's really funny. He's going to do the Locked On Tigers show if we have a season.
Yes.
But no, I don't. To be honest, the last 3 years working at U of D High and teaching these kids and getting to work with some really good people was so rewarding that I kind of realized, wow, my past in the radio, while I made some good friends and have some good contacts, the day-to-day and how you should be treated and how you feel going home every day, it's a complete 180. And the same thing goes for working at Financial Architects. I love the people I work with, and I'm running through a wall with them. Now, to be honest, in my days in radio, was I a bit of a shit starter at times and a moper? 100%. 100%. Yeah. And I own that, but I still keep in touch with plenty of the guys. Some I don't, and that's unfortunate. But Dave mentioned the DFN days. I mean, that was a really special time for sure. I loved working with Mike and Terry. Loved it, and still listen to Mikey on my way home every day.
By the way, John Eads is saying hi to Matt Dery. I think that name sounds familiar.
John is one of my former students at U of D, and now at Syracuse, following in my footsteps.
Look at that.
Yeah, he's awesome. Great family.
Go ahead, Dave.
I have to tell you, when Matt Dery was on 105.1, I listened every day. And Matt knows that. I would text him constantly. When he was at 105.1, when I was go out to lunch, I listened to Matt every day. I loved it.
Thank you.
My friend Rob Pasco.
What's up with the Boar's Nest? How's Pasco?
Pasco's fine. The Boar's Nest.
Hey, Matt, really quick before Dave answers. I have become like the favorite son of Maureen and Sue Pasco, so I know all about the whole Pasco situation. But what's the Boar's Nest? What's that mean?
That's Dave's. Dave's got to take that one.
The Boar's Nest is Rob's a big Dukes of Hazzard fan, and he has a garage that's a detached garage from his house with all his memorabilia. I mean, you can't even walk in there, and it's called the Boar's Nest, and he's got a little logo and everything, and that's his place where he goes and hangs out. We've had card games there and everything, and he's doing traffic now along with his wife, and
yep.
They do it out of their house, and it's great. I don't see him as much as I used to because I work on the Lions broadcast on Sundays, but we used to watch football every Sunday together. I mean, going back to the DFN days, when they used to do the Sunday show with Larry Lee and Rob, and we'd go to the we used to do the pregame show. So, and I used to always go with that show. So it was a lot of fun. I've known Rob for a long time.
By the way, Mike says, go ahead, Matt.
No, it's funny because you had Dave, who's a Broncos fan, Pasco, huge Packers fan.
Right.
Huge.
Everybody always says they have that B team, which sucks, I mean, but I get it.
You know me, I just have an A team, just an A team.
And I respect that about you. I mean, but no, getting back to your original question from 15 minutes ago, doing the podcast stuff, still doing the Wired Pistons show once a week. Yep. My brother and I do a tribe show now, Dery Brothers Tribecast. You can follow it find us on Apple.
Oh, nice.
And I'm doing stuff for my office too at Financial Architects. So it keeps me going. I fill in at the Fan in Cleveland. You want to talk about a really good radio station that's really well run and has really good people. 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. I don't know if you've heard Bull and Fox in the afternoons, and it's a good spot.
I was on that show once, and I was on another show on that station, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we had two guys that came to our station, 97.1, Jake Chapman and Chris Villar, who's still there, that both came.
Villar's the man.
He is. He's great.
Chris is great people. Great people.
Mike says, let's plate this dish. Great opening line. So a little love.
Hey, so Mike and Dave. So those are two of our 7 listeners at 105.1. Holy shit.
Mike is a big fan of the Squatch. Big fan of Jeff Rieger, Dave's brother, as well. Listen, I wanted to ask you.
How have we not mentioned Jeff on all this time on the air?
He doesn't need a mention. It'll ruin the ratings.
Oh, yes.
We have a ton of live viewers. Let's get him on.
What is it? The other night I turned on the show, and it's your other brother who I've never seen before.
Yeah,
Eric. Oh my God, this Eric looks just like Jeff.
Yep.
I know.
Eric has been texting me and Dave incessantly about this ultra marathon in people's backyards. There are guys that are still running right now. There's 2 left for 60 hours. 60 hours straight. But Jeff wanted to come on. He had some olive stuff to take care of. He'll be out at some point soon, hopefully.
Eric the Smart Rieger, who got a real job and lives out in Marin in California.
From Google and stuff.
Yeah, just living life. I mean, you want to get a client, Matt. It's Eric Rieger that you want out of the.
Wow.
This is who you want. You want Eric Rieger on your team.
We'll have to explain to him one day what financial architecture is all about.
Yeah. Eric's the guy that you could have some dealings with. I also want to say I see Matt, a very big LinkedIn guy, always posted on LinkedIn for the financial architect.
Hey,
I see the post constantly.
It's much appreciated.
Deez, let me ask you this. You're a big NBA guy. Obviously, I took over the job you did so well for years doing Pistons pre and post, and I know you've always stayed connected to the NBA. What do you think about this idea of having a tournament for the worst teams for the 1 spot in the draft, and then a 20-team, kind of situation you play in for the final seeds, no conferences, 1 through 16, 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, neutral site in Vegas. Do you think it's doable? Do you think it makes sense? What would you do as far as the NBA goes?
You want my honest? I honestly think they should cancel the season.
I think they're going to.
And I don't think that's obviously bad. And we're fans, and we all want action, and we all want NBA back. And can LeBron do it with the Lakers? And who's going to come out of the East? And it could be LeBron and Giannis. To be quite honest, I mean, are you really going to get people? Like, we're still going upwards with this whole COVID thing, and I think. We're going to get to a point too. And here's the other thing that you got to think about. You got to get these players back into shape. I was watching Syracuse, Kansas Saturday night. They had a watch party on Facebook for the Syracuse slappies like me. And Jim Boeheim was on, and Carmelo was on. And Carmelo's like, I can't leave my house. I can't go to the gym and shoot. He doesn't have a basketball hoop at his house. I think he's in Portland. So the guys that have gyms at their house are getting shots up, but the guys that aren't are not supposed to leave their house. They're not supposed to congregate and stuff. And you got to get these guys back into some shape, or guys are going to be pulling hamstrings. I think it's very, very dangerous to be sitting here going, oh yeah, we can get a season back and going. And what do you do about the teams like? I think you could start the playoffs right away, because really, if you look at seeds 9 through 16, it's pretty much set in stone what the East and West looks like.
They were bad. They were talking about
very dangerous.
They were talking about like the final, like those seeds like Memphis, whatever, trying to get into the playoffs. They would have like a little mini tournament to get in for the 8 seeds, and they do 1 through 16, and then for the draft pick, they would have a little tournament, like a 1-game playoff with different teams to see who got the overall one. But I'm with you, and I want to get Dave's thoughts on this in a second too. But Dave, Matt, I think you look at it like this. I said this for the last several weeks. And you mentioned joking about Corona. I'm not saying you were, but like people joking about it at holiday dinners. And I'm not trying to say I'm some expert, but I knew this was a big deal a while ago. I was at the Rudy Gobert game. I know that obviously this was going to be a novel virus that we have no proven treatment, no immunity, and no vaccine for. So people were joking. I remember doing a show on this a month and a half ago, and people were actually saying thank you for not joking about this. So that meant a lot to me, because there were many that took it serious, but there were some that obviously didn't, and thank God they are now. But when it comes to fans in stadiums, teams, like you mentioned, just let's say they do the NBA tournament, and they do the ultraviolet testing or rapid testing, and everyone's healthy and safe and all that kind of stuff. The second one player gets it, Matt, and Dave, it's over.
That's it.
It's over
again.
That's it. Like Gobert. It's Gobert, patient zero over again. So we all want sports. We know that's why I said this earlier. That yes, when they come back, I hope people are more grateful. I know we are, but like for a Tuesday NBA game or a Wednesday night or Thursday afternoon Tigers game, the Tigers suck. But we need sports back. They're unifying post 9/11, after Katrina, etc. But not at the cost of lives, Matt. So I think you can't do it right now. You just can't.
I agree.
Dave,
I don't see it.
Dave, what do you think?
I agree with Matt. I saw that Adam
Silver,
the new commissioner of the Adam Silver, said they're not even going to visit anything until May now.
Right.
And Giannis said he doesn't have a hoop at his house. He's just like running on the treadmill, doing weights. So probably a lot of them. And I agree, if they don't get into shape, you're going to have a lot of injuries. It's kind of like when going to college football. Brian Kelly, I saw him on with Scott Van Pelt. He said, July 1st. We have to be ready to go by July 1st. Otherwise, because they've got to get 4 to 6 weeks of training just to get ready for football. So I think that I'm worried about the NFL, and that's my favorite time of the year.
Yeah.
So I'm worried that that's going to get pushed too. So, but everybody's got to we have to get this curve flattened. We have to try to get testing. Everybody gets tested. If we could get everybody tested, then we can maybe find out how to go from there.
Who's immune, who can be safer.
Right. And look, and Dan brought up the point. He's like, all right, everybody comes in the building, and they got to make sure that everybody's, together and we're on the same page. We're not. It's April 6th. We're not on the same page now.
Not even close.
We're not.
No.
You go. I went into Rite Aid the other day. I had to get some stuff, and I put the mask on.
Me too.
What world am I in that I'm putting a fucking mask on? And gloves to go get milk and eggs.
I know.
And then there's guys walking around going with no mask, and I'm going. We're just.
It's surreal.
Here and go. We're gonna have to come up with a plan for the NBA. Yeah. We can't even get a plan for us.
Well said, my friend. Well said. By the way, Jason Ross Jr., future hockey announcer, he's involved in the chat right now, saying awesome job, fellas. Hey, I'll tell you this. It's great to have someone like Matt on. Obviously, I do the show with Dave a lot and our friend Stats. And I'll tell you this, it's an honor to be able to connect with people, Matt. You know this. That's why I was so excited to have you on. We've been fired up about this for the last several days, or the last couple of weeks. And even though it's a weird time and interviews are being done by Skype, etc., like we're doing this obviously via Skype and this software I've come up with. Well, I didn't come up with it, but I've learned how to use it. I wish I did. I'd be rich.
Yeah. You don't even know how to use it.
Hey, listen, I'm doing a heck of a job.
Thank God for Dave.
It's a lot tougher than you guys think. I think I'm doing a hell of a job. I will pat myself on the back. But that being said, to be able to do this kind of stuff means a lot.
Used to doing that.
With people. What did Dave say?
No, nothing. He was seeing nothing.
Jerk sauce. I know a punch.
Hey, by the way, I'm hijacking. You got to give pour some out for Al Kaline.
Yes. Well, I was going to go to the Kaline stuff with you.
There's no bigger Tiger hater than me. All right,
yes.
That organization is a dark tunnel most of the time in my eyes with how they treat people. But that light was always Mr. Tiger.
It was incredible.
Class act and one of the greats, man. That was so sad to see today.
And for me,
what a great guy.
And Dave knows this. We talked about this earlier. And Dave's been to some of these that I've done. Matt, I've done these Q&As for the Tigers for like years now, and it's a very special honor they've given me. And 3 years ago, I sat before the '68 anniversary. I sat down with Kaline. And my dad, it's his hero, his sporting hero. He had never met him. He has a whole Kaline room. And my dad had never met him, so I brought my dad. He got to meet Kaline, got to see me interview him, and it's been really nice. People have been sharing pictures of that that Q&A earlier, on social media, which is awesome. My dad.
Everybody's got pictures.
It's so
Kaline
cool. And my dad.
It is cool.
That day, man, my dad. Kaline had to go throw the first pitch out, so everyone wants autographs and pictures. The only person he took a picture with that day was my father, and it was a gift. I was so grateful to give him that.
That's very, very cool. It would have been cool this past weekend when the Indians would have swept the Tigers downtown.
Hey, listen, OWBR order will be restored, or has it? You guys haven't won yet, Deez.
Can you explain that to the people? How did you and I get on OWBR?
I think. Well, I'll tell you this. You used to text me on my shows. We still do.
Correct.
You would text me personally, and all I would get, I know, was you right away. Hashtag OWBR. I think you started.
I swear. I was saying order will be restored because the Indians won the Central for so many years, and then when the Indians and Tigers are never good at the same time ever. Never. So like the Indians won it for all these years to start. Then the Tigers were obviously so good in the 2000s under Leland, and then the Indians then came back. So I kind of said order has been restored or will be restored. I was working at 105.1 driving late night listening to Dan texting at 97136 OWBR. Oh my God!
It was the best. It's been our thing.
That does bond us. That and Splish Splash, you were taking a bath or whatever.
Well, Deez, everything you did.
Be call.
Yeah, but Dave, do you know how many times I would text him and tell him it's 2-2 in the first half? Why are you screaming Splish Splash? Can you wait until a big shot in the second half?
You were 100% right, but I did with that Splish Splash call get the Titans on SportsCenter for like 12 straight hours. So you're right. I needed to be a little more judicious, but I did get him on SportsCenter with Juwan Howard Jr.'s 3 from like half court almost on Friday the 13th.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, now it's from half court. Yeah, of
I
course.
said almost half
In,
court.
in 10 years, it'll be three-quarter court.
Yeah,
It'll be,
court,
it'll,
you know.
Hey, look, Earl
God,
Blake.
how many nights I spend at the barn sitting next to you with doing these play-by-play for the Titans to just watch them get blown out.
Hey, they were
I
okay
mean,
under Coach
really nice.
McDowell. Things got
It was
better after that.
ridiculous.
These
Come
are-
on down to the barn.
Hey,
Come on,
have
Dave.
you-
I'll get you front row here. You'll sit by me. We got a great team. Got a great recruiting.
Oh, my God.
Oh my
What do you
God.
got, Matt?
Hey, Dan, have you talked to Ray in a while? Seriously.
Yes, Ray. I'll tell Ray McCallum is who that's talking about.
Will you text him, please? I have an old cell for him. I left him a message at Georgia State. No, is he at Tulane now
Yes,
with
Tulane.
Ron
He's at
Hunter?
Georgia State with.
I have to reconnect with Ray. If
with
you can
Hunter.
please tell him I said that.
100%. Let me just say something. I got a question. You're our guest of honor, so I got a John Eads question for you, Matt, in a second. But on Ray McCallum, and like I said, I basically followed in your footsteps. You've led me the way. You did Titans first, then I did Titans. You did Pistons first, then I did Pistons. So you're a guy that I've always looked up to. But I'll tell you this: Ray McCallum and me he was so kind to me, and I traveled with that team for 4 years. He would let me in on film sessions. We ate together. We would, spend different nights out, not like partying or anything. He was such a great guy. And then after he's always stayed in touch with me. When he got to Georgia State, he would hear me on the radio sometimes and say, "Great to hear you." I just can't tell you enough, man. And you know this, how class act of a guy Ray McCallum was. He was just unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. I got lucky. I did the Titans for 11 years on radio, 10 with Perry Watson, who was unbelievable to me. And then Ray's first year, which was a disaster. He only won seven or nine games, but even after some bad losses, and you guys know this, he would come over to the table and put the headset on right after the game and do post game, which was like, I even waved him off sometimes, like, Ray, go in the locker room and scream at your guys. And that was, you talk about missing radio, which I don't miss the day to day, and that's another story for another day. But nights like that and being with people like that, like Coach Watson, Ray, Mondro, all the guys I was with at UDM, oh my God. I mean, I still talk to Rashad all the time.
Oh, he's the best.
Phillips.
He's the best.
He is. That stuff I miss. I love traveling. It took me away from my family and everything else. But boy, that was a lot of fun. Ray, you're right about Ray. What a great dude.
He's the best. And shout out to Ray McCallum. Dave, those nights were great in the barn. So here's your question, Matt, from Eads. Callahan, the Hull. Do you think, Diesel, that college football will be delayed? John says, unfortunate possibility. I'll answer after you, but you are the man right now.
I think the NFL is going to be on time. I don't know where they're going to play and if there's going to be people in the stands. College, you're talking about kids, student athletes. That I would think would be delayed.
Yeah.
But I think Goodell. I don't think Roger Goodell gives a rat's ass about this coronavirus. I think you look at it now. They're doing the draft. They're doing free agency. He's got some buddies in that league that are buddies with the guy at the very top of this country. So I think the NFL is going to be as per usual as possible. College, I don't know. Herb Street, I know, said he thinks it's going to cancel the whole season. I don't know about that.
Well, Matt, it goes back to what we talked about earlier, Matt and Dave. That, you think about college, 128, I believe, FBS teams, another 70 or so FCS, whatever it is. So you got over 200-something teams. It's not like the NFL where you're traveling with 53, you're traveling with 70 sometimes, and support staff and trainers. The second one person tests positive, it's over. So it's the same type of thing where I hope they can play with no fans, they can do it safe, they can do it in a contained environment. But the problem is, the second you get someone testing positive, until we have a vaccine or a proven treatment, or probably even just a vaccine, which can take a year or more, you've got to be safe with the vaccine. You can't kill more people just to rush it to the public. I can't see it, Matt. Dave, do you think that you told me earlier today, Riggs, that the NFL, I didn't see this because I was choked up on the Kaline stuff, that the NFL is talking about preseason games with masks and they're going to do it, no fans. I can't see that right now either, Dave.
No, I mean, but I agree with Matt. Goodell's going to get that season started on time. It too. Trump had the meeting with all the commissioners, and he said, the NFL is going to start on time. I know, Dan, what you think of Trump, but
who said anything? Who said I think anything of Trump?
But
here come the Twitter message.
I think with no fans, they'll play with no fans. And but I agree with you. I think that if one person gets a positive test, then it'll shut it down again. So we'll have to see what happens moving forward.
Deeds is also talking about Antoine Davis. Oh, obviously, I thought he was talking about Antoine Walker for a second. Antoine Davis was incredible. Coach Davis's son. Unfortunately, the Titans, Matt, as we both know, terrible the last few years. The Bakari Alexander situation was obviously horrendous, and I feel terrible.
Now you're digging into way deep territory here. Oh my goodness!
I know.
By the way, shout out to Chad Bush, my partner on Eastern Michigan
basketball.
Love Chad Bush. So much, and I know you're an Eagle at heart. I saw you on Greg Steiner's podcast, Dan. You're everywhere.
Please,
last years I've had with Eastern have been so much fun. Oh my
Eastern, I'm so grateful to have been there. Without Eastern's education, I was enrolled at your school, my friend. I was enrolled at Syracuse. But a crazy summer with my parents, I would have gotten in trouble. They were saying a lot of things. But
you went and hung out with your roommate Topher Grace.
Yes, but Eastern was amazing. No, but just back to the Titans. I love the Titans. I just wanted to be better. Let's talk about something on a good note, though. Yes, the NFL draft's happening. It's going to be virtual. It's going to be very weird. No floating stage in Vegas. But you do the Lockdown Lions podcast. What do you think about the Lions at number 3?
I think Dave knows this too. Here's my prediction. I think Bob Quinn is going to draft Jeffrey Okudah at 3. I think he's got to trade down if he can to 5 or 6.
Yep.
Whether it's Miami or whether it's the Chargers, and still get the Lions are always notorious for a little double in the gap, a little bloop double in the gap, a little infield single.
No home run.
Wouldn't it be nice to have a home run on Thursday, April 23rd, where Quinn moves back, accumulates picks? There was one mock draft today on the draftnetwork.com from Jordan Reed. He had the Lions moving back with Miami, I think, getting 5, getting Okudah, and then getting the Dolphins' 26th pick, their 3rd first rounder, and then taking that Blacklock kid, the D tackle from TCU. That would be awesome. Then you accumulate picks and you still get your guy. But knowing the Lions and Bob Quinn and how safe he is, I think they're going to take Okudah at 3. Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, Dave, what do you think the Lions? Actually, before we get to Dave, a quick thing to you, Matt.
Dave loves his Lions.
I don't think Dave is a Broncos DB. I call him a Broncos DB. Let me ask you this. I think that 5-26 is probably what is most likely. But if you create a bidding war, let's say remember a few years ago, Andy Reid and the Chiefs, I'm forgetting his name, the Chiefs GM, they knew they were going to get Mahomes. They traded up, top 10. They knew he was their guy. What if the Dolphins...
John Dorsey.
Yeah, Dorsey. What if the Chargers or the Raiders or the Finns, whoever it is, 2 is their guy? Create a bidding war. You get 5-18, Matt. I think it's RG3 and 3 first rounders.
I would love that. The problem is with everything that's going on in the world right now, you're noticing that the reports are not as aplenty as they should be.
Right.
I don't think look, Rappaport, we all know, Quinn and Rappaport talk.
Yes.
Let's call it what it is. When you see Rappaport says sources, it's coming from Quinn. Bob did Rap Sheet's podcast like 3 times. So that your eyes are closed if you don't see that one. So if Rap Sheet comes out and says, hey, Lions had a secret Skype session with the Tua Squatch, or something like that, then now we're talking. We have to see that on Twitter in the next few days. I want to see that the Lions had some secret conversation via FaceTime with Tua to drive up the price. They got to start doing that.
Now, even though Reeves is a total Broncos DB and a trader, part of the Rebel Lions, take him away, he is objective because he's not a Lions fan. And he said that he'll give me the credit when they find. I've never given up hope. When they finally win that Super Bowl, that Dave thinks will never happen until aliens come. It'll be a good time for aliens to come down. Dave, who do you think they're going to take at 3 or should take at 3?
Well, I agree with Matt. I think they're going to take Okudah.
I don't. Never with me.
I just want to know if you guys agree with this. I think the Lions showed their hand when they picked up Chase Daniel.
Maybe.
So I think that at that point, they knew that all these teams know they're not going to take Tua.
So they had to sign.
Yeah, they haven't had a backup in years.
But I think
they can still draft and stash.
But I think that I feel personally that showed their hand that they're not going to deal with Tua, and I think they kind of lost some of that, like, okay, we can maybe fight. We can have other teams fight for this 3rd pick because they might think we're going to take Tua. I think they showed their hand too early there, and I think now now nobody's going to want to fight for that because they know they're not going to take Tua, and I think they're just going to take Okudah or a tight end. One of the two.
Oh, here we go.
Okay,
Well,
I mean, come on.
That's good comedy.
I mean, come on.
There's a solid bit right there.
I mean, come on. You know, I mean, it's like if there's one thing that is living, you know, very healthy through this coronavirus, I think we know what it is, and that's SOL. And I think SOL never.
You sound just like your brother.
Well, I give him all his material.
But Matt, we know he's better than his brother. He's better than his brother.
I mean, come on.
Are we really doing SOL at 10:26?
And by the way, SOL lives everywhere. By the way, Matt Dery does the best Jeff Rieger impersonation on the planet.
Let's hear it. Let's hear
it.
Yes.
Oh, yes. In my opinion.
Let's hear some Rieger, some Dery Rieger.
You do the best. You do the best Jeff Rieger.
I could do it. I've done that before.
Oh, yes.
Oh, now there's pressure. Wait a minute. I have to do a Jeff Rieger impression.
Give us a little Jeff Rieger, please.
It's always SOL, no matter what. I think it's good. It's good. Oh,
yeah, his brother just lives. It's like all he'll do. And I love Jeff. He's one of my favorite guys. Like, if he could do 6 shows in a row, they would all be SOL. Hey, buddy, SOL. So enough of that nonsense.
Speaking of showing their hand, who's the opposite corner on the outside from Trufant right now? Nobody. Well, I mean, they've signed all these guys. That kid Daryl Roberts from the Jets. Give me a break. I mean, they've got a lot of fringy guys. They don't have that number 2 guy. Coleman's a slot guy, overpaid, by the way, but whatever. But they need that. I mean, that's the biggest need other than right guard, I would say, and an edge rusher opposite of Trey Flowers.
We got our old friend texting in. Hey, what's the task force taking text? John Hawkins, who wanted to ask me,
the Hawk did.
The Hawkville. He wanted to ask me if he could make a Jewish joke about the coronavirus. I said, sure, I'm Jew. It's fine. So is these. He said, you know it's serious when the Jews shut it down. And there's a tweet. The church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem was closed today. Guess when the last time it was closed? 1349 during the bubonic plague. Things are serious. Things are serious. We're having fun.
Thank you, John, for that contribution.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. He's depressing. Like,
Can I get that last 3 minutes back?
By the way, Dave Safetsky is saying this is legit. Amazing task force sticks. He wants to say he said the Lions play it safe too much under Quinn. Wish they would take the best player on the board rather than filling holes. Matt, you deal with that all too much. And really quick, Eads is saying a guy that I love. At 35, A.J. Epinesa, the edge from Iowa. He also says Josh Uche from Michigan at 35. Matt, I think it's like this. You have to look at Okudah or Simmons at 3 if you stay there. Try to trade down. Get a Epinesa. Get a Okudah, a Simmons. Look at an offensive lineman because Glasgow's gone. You've got to build those 3-4 positions right there in the first couple rounds.
I love Isaiah Simmons, but like they have this weird love affair for Jared Davis, who who's not a good football player. He's not. Great guy, shows up for early, leaves last one to leave. Great.
Really good guy.
He's not good. So like Simmons, I would love to watch a linebacker fly around and have athleticism. That's not what if they wanted that linebacker, they would have taken Devin Bush last year.
Yes.
Right, so
instead of freaking
second round, watch out for Cesar Ruiz.
Yes,
if Ruiz is there, that's a Bob Quinn classic bit. Take the guard center, move him around for a year,
right? Exactly.
Around on the offensive line.
I love that a Quinn classic bit. And listen,
he did it with Glasgow and he did it with Ragnow. Why not make it a 3-peat with Ruiz?
Very happy to have Glasgow in Denver. By the way, thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Great sign.
But let me ask Dan. Let me ask Matt a question. Your thoughts on Tua?
I think he's good. I don't know how healthy he is though.
If he's healthy, he's a transcendent player. But I know that he got cleared medically. He hasn't been cleared to throw yet, I don't think. But he was planning on it before the draft. Maybe he would have been able to by now. That was weeks ago. Feels like a year ago. I just think with a guy like Tua, you still have Stafford under contract. You can't trade him without all the dead money. Unless you think he's Patty Mahomes, you're not making that move for the Lions. But if Tua stays healthy, Matt, I think Tua could be one of the great quarterbacks in the next 15, 20 years.
But we all know the problem is, and it's not a problem per se, but ownership loves the Stafford family. And what they do in the community. You honestly think that Martha
he's my guy.
are going to trade? They're going to trade number 9? No way. He'll be here forever.
Mike wants to know what running back you like, 3rd round or later. Is there anyone here? I've looked at a couple different guys.
The kid from LSU, the little kid with the hyphenated name.
Yeah.
Why am I drawing a blank on his name
Edwards-Helaire. I love Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, fantastic. I would take him in a second.
He's really, really good.
Yeah, because we know Kerryon Johnson will make it to week 4 or 5 before he gets hurt again.
I gotta be honest. When I was doing daily radio shows, I was all up on all the guys I liked in the mock drafts. I really, just to be honest, I have not been as up. I still study stuff, but I got to get back into it because there's like 2 other running backs that I liked. I liked the kid from USC, and I'm just forgetting their names right now, so I apologize. But
it's too late.
Although
this is about time you usually wake up every day.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did.
No doubt about that.
I slept like 7 hours the last 3 days. Deez, if you
call me at 5 o'clock in the morning, FaceTime me at 5 o'clock in the morning. I've been up all night. I got a question for you.
A few more things I want to get to, and I want to get back to the Kaline things. Our task force top 3 tonight, in honor of Deez being a good baseball guy. I wanted to focus on the Kaline thing, but it got me thinking because there's this Mount Rushmore of Detroit athletes. Generationally, for me, it's different guys than maybe for someone that's older. But Kaline is definitely a unanimous type guy on a Mount Rushmore. When it comes to
Mount Rushmore, Mount Rushmore, what is this, Jay and Bill?
No, I'm just saying, like if you're gonna have your all-time, actually,
yes, I know.
Mad Dog Russo tweeted out the Mount Rushmore Detroit athletes earlier. It wasn't me or Jay and Bill, but I'll tell you this: he's a guy that's an all-timer that I think there's so many people out there, even my age, because I learned from my dad, that loved him, even though they never saw him play. I met Al many times as a young journalist. I saw him many times as a kid at Tiger Stadium, calling the games with George Kell. Never saw him play other than video. That being said, it got us thinking, our task force top 3 tonight is the 3 favorite athletes that played in your hometown. They don't have to be from there, but they had to play there. Deez, what are yours? No, you don't have to do an order if you don't want, but the top 3 favorite athletes of your hometown, which of course you can't see me when I hold up a C right now.
Cleveland, Ohio. So
where did you grow up at? What area in Cleveland, by the way? Shaker or Dutch? Ottawa Hills?
No, Pepper Pike. I went to Orange High School, class of '91.
Oh, nice.
I would say, well, I grew up, I don't know how well you know, and Dave knows from the Broncos-Browns late 80s rivalries. My favorite player growing up was the Browns wide receiver Webster Slaughter, number 84. Dude was absolutely sick, and he was so cool, and he painted his shoes orange, and he did the high fives in the pregame when he came out. So Webster Slaughter, probably number 1. Julio Franco, I grew up, holding the bat up high. One of my favorite Indians, and I'd probably put Jim Thome number 3.
By the way, Julio Franco, I lived in Atlanta for about 5 years, and he was like 42 when he was playing for the Braves. Every time we'd go to a game, he would come up and say, "That's the oldest guy ever to kick his leg right and move his bat behind his back." Every time he got a hit, it was like the oldest guy to ever do something. He was awesome. Rangers, right? Indians. He played for like 7 teams, something like that.
Oh yeah, the Braves. Where else was Julio Franco? Did he go to Milwaukee? He was pretty much everywhere. The Mets.
That's Mets for sure. Those are three great ones. Dave, if they're all Broncos, well, they can't be. Dave earlier was like, "Can I have?" Who's the guy you asked you could do?
No Broncos.
Well, no, but he was getting you guys that were from Michigan. They got to play
Broncos
here.
On this list.
They got to play.
I do want to say that Jim Thome's wife's uncle used to work with my mom, so I'll throw that in there.
Noted Tiger.
But the lovely Andrea.
That's yes, right. But I would say when I was a kid, a big Lance Parrish fan. I played catcher when I was a little leaguer, so and he was on Different Strokes, so we used to like that show, my brother and I. So
yeah,
Lance Parrish was I would say, I don't know how big of a fan I was when he was playing, but now working with Lomas Brown, great guy. Love working with Lomas.
Man, he's great, LB.
It's just one of the nicest guys. And this last guy who became a huge fan of, I can say Matt Dery played a big part because Matt was nice enough to schedule me for a handful of Pistons games to go cover. I go in the locker room, deal with Rasheed Wallace and his sweet iPod that he used to put in, so we couldn't use any of the audio on the post-game show. But Chauncey Billups was just phenomenal, and I could talk Broncos with him after we were done doing the interview, and it was just great. And the 04 Pistons were the best. And so he would probably be my favorite one.
Hey, those are all great. For me, I'll start with Tram. He was my first athlete that I loved. I met him as a 10-year-old at a Mexican restaurant on Orchard Lake Road with Tom Brookins. I have that picture. My mom found it, and it's one of my most prized possessions. I just love that guy. And when he went to the Hall of Fame, I did a Q&A with him as well, that my mom, dad, and nephew and brother-in-law and sister all came to. That was a very special day. Took a picture with my nephew. He was my guy as a really young kid. By the way, Mike goes with Chauncey, Sweet Lou, Carlos Guillen. And then number 2 is Isaiah. The Lions and Wolverines, as you guys know, are obviously my favorite teams, but they're my first love in sports. I fell in love with sports with the Bad Boys. Remember waiting in line at Dunham's to get those character shirts after they won the titles. Had a can of Coke when Vinnie Johnson, the microwave, hit that 007 shot to beat Portland when it sprayed it outside like I was partying with champagne. But Isaiah was my guy, Zeke. And number 1, it's not even close, is Barry Sanders. I was able to see him as a kid, able to cover him as a young journalist at the 2,000-yard game when they carried him off the field, at the only playoff win in 62-plus years. There's no better electrifying athlete in my lifetime that played in Detroit than Barry Sanders. Those are my 3. D's.
Who mentioned Lou Whitaker?
Sweet Lou is Mike. You're one of your favorite listeners. Mike Bubiak. I always mess his last name up. Premier Lawn. Chauncey, Sweet Lou, Carlos Guillen. All right, Tom Cooper's involved. He's got a question for you, Deez. He says, yes. What chances do you believe the Lions have at drafting an O-lineman early? I love Wirfs and Thomas. Of course, Wirfs is looked at as one of the best.
But Wirfs is a tackle. Are they going to move that big V dude that they gave $10 million a year to guard? Yeah. You're going to pay a guard $10 million a year? You didn't want to pay Glass?
That was a terrible signing, by the way. Terrible signing.
So if you pick up tackle, I would assume.
I would assume too. But who knows?
But if you're going to, again, nothing would stun me with the Lions. Nothing would surprise me. Wirfs is really good. Some people mock him to number 4 to the Giants. Yep. I would not be surprised if the Lions took a guard in the 2nd round. They got to get a defensive player, whether it's an edge or a corner at 3, and But
maybe you want to call a blitz too. Maybe once in a while too.
No. Rush 3, drop 8.
Yeah, right.
Cooper says,
I want to mix it a blitz there, Patricia.
Cooper said, if one of us 3 does a backflip for me, I'd appreciate it. Cheers. Well, that's not happening tonight. I don't have any room for it anyway. John Eaton says Jake Moody, Pavel, and Rip Hamilton. Jake Moody. Deez, I'm gonna let
John loves his Wolverines. He was one of my former students and is obsessed with Michigan football. I should get him and you together, Dan.
Yes. Before we get our items and get going here, man, I can't. We're gonna do this again. You're the best. But I'm gonna let you hijack again.
No, I said I was going to, but
no, do it. You get to hijack now before we go.
No, can I say one more thing about Al Kaline passing away? And I know a lot of people are going to go, oh, here he goes, Tribe fan and everything. Like, Al Kaline is such a class guy in an organization that this summer was supposed to, and again, we'll see what happens with coronavirus, retire Lou Whitaker's number. I got a text from one of my other students tonight, this kid Noah, who said to me, oh, it's too bad Al Kaline passed away because couldn't properly honor him. And I'm like, properly honor? They don't properly honor anybody. Yeah. How did Jose Iglesias wear number 1? Are you kidding me? Sorry.
It's okay.
I agree.
By the way,
thank you. Hashtag let's honor Sparky after he passes away.
Oh my God. Sparky went into the Dave, God bless you. Sparky went into the Hall of Fame as a Red. He was in Cincinnati for 8 years, Detroit for 17.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
What a joke.
By the way, the two running backs that I was forgetting about, I can't believe I forgot about one of these guys further down the trough, Zach Moss from Utah, and I know he's a Buckeye, but J.K. Dobbins is pretty damn sick. You might be able to get him in the 2nd or 3rd round, if not.
I don't think Dobbins is definitely a day 2 guy.
I think he is. So those are 2 guys I'm looking at. All right, well, as we always do on the task force, this has been one of our most interactive edition, because you bring out the love, my friend. But we always do this because we're all stuck at home, and for a good reason. We bring out an interesting house item, anything, it can be memorabilia, whatever it is. We'll start with Dave Rieger, who one day, Matt, the first show I think we did, he had a stupid Bronco head. What's that thing called again, Dave? He wore it for like the last 10 minutes of the show. It's stupid.
It was the Miles foam head, the original one, not the second generation, which they were not.
Yeah,
this one it's awesome. It's white. It's got the orange little mane. But it's not the ones they have. It's pretty sweet.
All right, Dave, what do you
admit.
got tonight for your interesting house item of the day?
Tonight I got in honor of Kingpin. I don't really get called much anymore.
I call you it.
But the PBA used to have the gold bowling pins.
Wow,
so this is a gold. This is a gold bowling pin from back in the day that they used to use on the PBA tour. So I had to have one.
And Deez, you know that Dave doesn't brag about this, but he could have probably been a pro bowler. He has 9 sanctioned 300 games. That's 9 more than I've got. It's pretty sick.
And I'll say this, and all the times I remember when Hills together at the Clear Channel compound, and Dave was running the board for Glenn Hagee, rest in peace, and God rest his soul. Dave would come in some days and be like, oh, whatever, last night I was bowling, and I'd be in the studio opposite of him doing updates for Mike and Bob, and Dave would be like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, how'd you do last night? And he's like, 300. I'm like, wait, what? Like, he would say it so matter-of-factly. I'd be, imagine Leach, but like, he'd be walking in, with a sign saying I bowled a 300. This guy was just like, had a good night last night, whatever, so.
Back in the day, it used to be pretty good.
Deez, what do you got? I know you got a ton of great stuff. I'm sure it was tough to choose.
All right, so you mentioned favorite Cleveland athletes of all time.
Yes.
And I mentioned Julio Franco. I said Tomey, obviously Webster Slaughter. Maybe number 4, that's possible. Oh, this is heavy. Would be my Albert Bell.
Yes.
My Albert Bell autograph.
Joey Albert Bell. Speaking of hashtag OWBR.
If you recall, in 1995, why am I screaming? In 1995, he was robbed of the American League MVP because he was such a dick, and Mo Vaughn won it. But it's autographed, it's signed. At the bottom, you can see the autograph, I think. And
that is very cool.
It was his 50-50 year.
That's
so
awesome.
we're revamping the pod cave down here, so this will be up on the wall soon. But that's what I got.
I love it.
Gigantic Albert Bell. This is a giant poster. So.
For me, I know you two can't see this, but I'll show it to the camera. I desperately tried to find this. I have the magazine, but I couldn't because obviously with all the stuff going on, I don't want to, I think it might be at my dad's, wherever it is. But I mentioned, obviously, Kaline passing today was devastating for so many. I had a friend of mine, on the phone in tears, he was a hero to my dad. It was his hero. And I mentioned that Q&A I did, and I got a picture of my father. I actually got Al's autograph for my dad. He went through the Tigers. You got to be careful as a media member for his 70th birthday of that picture of me, my dad, and Kaline. So that was very, very nice of the Tigers to be able to do that. But I do a lot of work, as you guys know, with NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illness, because I want to try to help as many as I can that are going through very tough times, especially now. And they did this special edition on the 68 Tigers for the 50th anniversary. And they put the picture of my dad. It's a picture of my dad with us and Kaline together, and it's in the magazine. It's actually in the magazine. He's holding it up in this. Let me get a little better shot here. That was a very, very special day to be able to share with my dad. And then he's in his own magazine, so he became he always says I'm a celebrity in my own mind, but that day my dad was a celebrity. So to share that with him, have him in the magazine forever with a picture of me, him, and Kaline. He's smiling ear to ear in the picture. It was awesome to
Dr. Harold Leach, by the way, did deliver my daughter Reese World 15 years ago. So
the doc guy.
Yes, he did. Took care of business.
All right, well,
so I owe him immensely for many years ago.
Been a big fan of yours, Matt. All right,
my girl.
We'll do one more question from Eads. He loves you, Deez. He wants your thoughts on it.
Oh my God.
He wants your thoughts on Art Motel.
On Uncle Artie?
Yeah. That's what I figured.
He will never get into the Hall of Fame. Ever.
He won't. Middle of the night, my man. Dave, your parting shot, my friend.
Well, I do want to say that TMZ, I just see Dana White securing private island for UFC fights.
Oh, great.
So there you go. That's how he's going to get that done. I wonder how our friend Stetz will feel about that. But I always usually say the same thing for the party shots. Everybody stay safe, follow the instructions, flatten the curve. And to quote my favorite TV coach, Coach Eric Taylor, Friday Night Lights, clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Love it. Deez, what do you got, my friend?
Appreciate you guys having me on. It was great to catch up. I think right now the biggest thing in our founder at our office, The great Ken Grace always says it at Financial Architects. Pick up the phone and call some people. Now's the time to do it. Dan and I, not that Dan and I hadn't talked, but occasionally it was just a text here and there or a tweet or me yelling at him about something or gambling related.
Yes.
And pick up the phone, man. I mean, that's, it's great to see great to see Dave tonight on camera. Great to see and to talk to Dan. But pick up the phone, man. Now's the time to reconnect with some people and just tell them that you're thinking about them and check in with folks, because this is hard.
It is.
Really, really hard. My son's supposed to graduate from high school next month, and I talked to him today, and he's like really, really angry and upset. Supposed to be on spring break. Supposed to be on a DECA trip. He's a camp counselor in the summer. That could not happen. The graduation thing. He's gonna be a freshman at IU at Indiana next year, and he's just bummed out, and it sucks. So I think picking up the phone and calling people rather than sending them a DM or a text. Pick up the phone, man.
You and I have had
reconnect with some folks.
You and I have had some really nice talks, and you reaching out to me. I mean, it's just been awesome. I mean, we've all, like you said, we've been in touch for forever. Going back to that day back at DFN when I wasn't named the high school football play-by-play game of the week announcer and moved to Costa Rica. You called me and talked to me for an hour, Matt, and you really called me.
I was upset. I was rooting for you. We wanted to. I remember when you were interning at Fox too.
Yeah.
So I was trying to bring you back.
You were the best. You always have it, Matt. It's been an honor to have you on. We'll do it again. Keep it on yourself, my friend. And as I always say to everybody, we love doing this to connect with you. As you said, Matt, it was such an important thing that you said. Please, please, please reach out to your friends, people in recovery, people that are maybe sick right now, whoever it is. Stay connected in this obviously virtual time we're in. But be safe, wash your hands, spread love, not hate, and we will get through this, that's for sure. Deez, I love you. Dave, I love you. And
love you both.
Until next time.
Good to see you, Deez.
It's the task force. Say
yes.
Deez, you love the task force. Like task force. It's our most interactive show. You bring them out, man. Until next time, believe in the dream. We love you all. Peace.